Okay, in a previous video I showed this little Hercules 1.5 horse. Got it up here on the bench. Slowly but surely getting this thing cleaned up. It's pretty much all disassembled. We had this all apart crankshaft. These bearings here were all gooped up with silicone by the previous owner. Not sure what he was thinking about. We got all that cleaned up. The connecting rod journal is a little bit pitted in spots, but I've been cleaning it with a smooth mill file and some emery paper, so that should be good to go. I have my grandson Liam out here in a little while. I'm going to spin this thing around. We're going to clean up the bore, and then there is not much in the way of crosshatch left in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's shiny, kind of glazed. So I'm going to have Liam take the cylinder hone. We'll go over that. I'm getting ready to finish cleaning up this flywheel, which also has the mechanism on it for actuating the hit and miss mechanical setup for the ignition. I got to clean the bore here on this flywheel and just give it a general cleaning, and then I'll get it reinstalled over here on the end of the crankshaft. Sorry, I'm banging this tripod around in here. And then we will get all this portion of the hit and miss ignition mechanical setup cleaned up, reinstalled. I'm going to try and find a new spring for this valve here, because this one, that one is a little bit worn and rusty compared to the other spring, which is really good. That other spring's obviously been replaced. That spring there is pretty bad, so got to fix that. So anyway, that's where we're at right now, and I'll follow up a little more later on. Oh, by the way, Arco, Minnesota Outlaw Customs, if you're watching, eat your heart out, brother. I got these at a swap meet a couple weeks ago. All three of them, focus, all three of them for about 15 bucks. They all need handles, but there we go. They're nice hammers. I got to do a little dressing on them. But hey, you can never have enough sheet metal hammers. So if you guys don't know who Arco is, his YouTube channel is Outlaw Edge. He runs Minnesota Outlaw Customs. Arco's a heck of a sheet metal fabricator, custom hot rod builder, mechanic. He does great stuff over on his channel, so go check him out. I'll leave a link down below in the description. You can go see what Arco's all about. That's it. Keep going. In and out. A little faster, in and out. Like that. Bring it out here a little farther. Split up. Yeah. I just came undone, that's all. Hang on to that for a minute, buddy. Yeah. It reached out and bit us, didn't it? Yeah. Something come unscrewed. Harbor Freight. How's that cylinder look? Here, let's bring it out this way, buddy. Came loose right where it came loose before.
There's something else though.
Yeah. I might have to try and tack weld that on there.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight. Well. Yeah. Here, buddy. Take this rag. I'll put that right there. Start wiping the inside of that out for me. All the way in and out, all the way around. Having a heck of a time with that Harbor Freight hone. Go all the way down, deep inside. I got a shaky cam going here. Park that right there. Let's have a look. Okay, Liam. Let's see here. How's it looking inside? Here, buddy. Shine that light in there for me. Right about there. Just shine it in there. We're starting to get a pretty good crosshatch, even though that Harbor Freight hone just can't handle it. You have some discoloration here, but I think we're going to be okay. Did a good job of cleaning that up. Alright, let's go over here and look at the piston, Liam.
Yeah, it's not coming out anytime soon.
So this is all cleaned up. When I first got this, they had the bushing to one side, and they drilled a hole in the skirt, put a set screw in it against the wrist pin, and there was no C-clips in the end. So I took that all apart, cleaned it up, put this in the press, centered the pin, had to re-drill the oil hole, and then got the wrist pin in there with inside C-clips on both sides. Now that'll work right. So, what do you think, Liam? Shall we call her quits?
Probably.
Probably. We've had a tool failure twice, so I think that's enough. Well, as you just saw, grandson Liam was attempting to hone the cylinder on the 1.5 horse Hercules, hit and miss. We had failure twice. This is a brand new, straight out of the package, Harbor Freight Laguna engine cylinder hone. It's, come on, focus now. Focus. It's part number 63641. And I recommend you don't buy it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not getting down on Harbor Freight. My shop's got quite a few Harbor Freight tools in it that have given me good service. But, you know, like anything else, there's certain things in certain stores you just don't buy. And this is one of them. This goes together like this. You got a spring shaft, slides into this recess, and a couple things are wrong here. Number one, I don't know if you can see that very well, that recess is only about a 1/2 inch deep. It should be 1 inch deep. And then the crimping method they use to crimp the spring shaft inside that recess was insufficient. So what happened was, when Liam started honing that cylinder, the torque from the drill just twisted this shaft right out of this. Now, we had this lightly adjusted. There wasn't a whole lot of pressure because I didn't want to hog a lot of material out of the cylinder. Just wanted to take it lightly, just enough to break the glaze and reestablish the crosshatch. This hone couldn't handle that, and we weren't using a powerhouse. Just this Porter cable 20 volt set on the drill setting, low speed, and you know, it wasn't putting a tremendous amount of torque on this thing, but it just couldn't handle it. So and I thought, well, maybe I could just fire up the wire feed and gingerly tack weld that on there. And then I decided against that because I realized these stones are not replaceable. They are epoxied in. So this is the grit you get, period, end of story. And so I thought, well, why waste my time with this? It's not going to do me the job. And so this is going in the junk heap. Sorry, Harbor Freight, this one's a loser. I went out down to NAPA and I got this Carlisle. It's a 2833 part number. I got this Carlisle cylinder hone, and we chucked that in, and it worked flawlessly. It finished the job real nice. We reestablished the, I don't know if you can see very well or not. We reestablished the crosshatch in there. There's still some discoloration, but you can't feel that with your finger. Your fingernail doesn't catch. So we've got that cleaned up, that cylinder real nice with that NAPA Carlisle cylinder hone. And so that's the one we're recommending for for doing your engine work. This thing, I think I paid 14 or 15 bucks for it, and the Carlisle from NAPA was $30. So I wish I would have just spent the $30 and saved 15, because this thing failed right away. Did me nothing. And I would have been $15 to the good if I just gone to NAPA and spent a little extra money and got me a good hone to begin with. So for those of you guys that do a lot of shopping at Harbor Freight, this Laguna 63641 engine cylinder hone, it's a fail. You don't want this one. Next order of business, I gotta oil this piston up and get it back in the cylinder and get this thing ready to run. I got a show coming up on October 10th in Mr. Shed here in Huachuca City with Power from the Past, and I'd like to get this little engine running if I can. One of the things I need to overcome, I think I may have showed this earlier. This is a Webster tripolar oscillator, magneto, igniter actually. And the problem with it is, you can see these bosses, mounting bosses, are all stripped and broken. Now this is pot metal from the factory 100 years ago. And I think there's an outfit on the East Coast, YouTuber 805 Road King. If you're not familiar with his channel, go check him out. If you click on the About tab on my page and look at my subscription list, you'll see 805 Road King on there. Anyway, he gave me a tip on an outfit on the East Coast that sells a lot of hit and miss engine parts, and they included parts for these Webster oscillators. Also, if I strike out with parts, I may send this off to Minnesota to Rudy Kalin at rebuiltmags.com. He's also got a YouTube channel. In the meantime, my buddy Larry, who you saw at the Hidden Treasure video I posted, Hidden Treasure Mall video, he had the big 8 horsepower Galloway on the trailer. He gave me a loan of this Webster. Now it's got 3 magnets, instead of 2, but all the mounting stuff is the same. And these magnets are not as thick as the 2 magnets that are on this one. Now the tag says this is a tripolar oscillator. I think that tag may have been replaced at one time. It may have been missing and somebody found a tag at a swap meet or something, because this is only 2 magnets. So it's not a tripolar. This is a tripolar because it's got 3 magnets. So anyway, I hope there's enough juice left in these magnets to give me some spark to fire this engine. And so I'll use Larry's igniter here and little oscillator until I can get that one fixed. And so hopefully that'll solve my ignition problem. If not, I've got an old low tension Model T type coil that I can work with a battery to get me by until I get this solved. Another issue I have, of course, you can see this is how I got it, just mounted on these 2 blocks of wood. There was no base and no fuel tank. So here's the carb. I have copper pipe and fittings on here to connect to a fuel tank, but I don't have a fuel tank yet. Well, I got a couple of small metal gas cans that hold like a pint. So I'm going to adapt one of those temporarily until I can either find or make a round vintage looking fuel tank for this little Hercules. So this is going to be a fun engine. I did get a small pulley with it. It's laying around here somewhere. And I intend to find like a small grain grinder or something like that. You can see it's back here. This is where the pulley mounts. And I intend to get some kind of little grain grinder or something like that to run off a flat belt off of this thing. And it should make a nice display at local shows. So anyway, I'm continuing on with the Hercules project. And don't worry, I promised in my very first video to the Shade Tree Fix-It Man that I'd be getting on the contraption. That's still in the queue. That's coming up. I just want to knock out a couple of these other projects first so I can concentrate on this, because this is going to take me a while. So there's an update. And when you go to Harbor Freight, don't buy the cylinder home. Thanks for watching, everybody.